my thoughts on this comp overall was that I was actually pretty impressed with the Breach. I think that the Breach actually found quite a bit of value, particularly on the defensive side. The Yoru, I think, could have been replaced by something else. Raised Jet, I think, might have worked even better.
Raised Jet, I think, might have worked even better. Raised Jet, I think, might have worked even better.
So yes, it is confirmed I have come out and revealed myself as some kind of psychic mystic seer, because 2 days ago, Misfits Black played against Immortals and they played this very weird comp with the Yoru and the Breach, and yesterday I made a video about it, and I mentioned in that video, as you just saw, that, I wasn't too impressed with the Yoru, and I think with a Jet or a Raze, maybe things would have gone a bit better, and they could have managed to work it out a bit because the spacing and the team chemistry just seemed a bit off. Fast forward to yesterday, and what happened in the game Misfits Black versus Shopify Rebellion? Well, instead of only running 2 rounds on their attack, this time they won 10 rounds, and, they only made one change, and that was changing Fluorescent from that Yoru onto a Jet. Now, obviously, it wasn't just that change, but Fluorescent also went absolutely insane. I mean, 484 ACS, 31 to 5 KD. That is something that really shouldn't be possible, and it's not like SR are a bad team. Actually, Shopify went on to win the whole series in a best of 5 series, so it's not like they are a bad team either, but Fluorescent just went absolutely crazy on that Jet, and I think you could tell that, it was kind of a combination of things, as we'll get into. So when we take a look at the game with the Yoru, and I think if you are a Duelist player or a Yoru player as well, this video is going to be pretty helpful to you, because you're going to be able to see kind of what can go wrong at like even the highest levels if you don't have the correct kind of team chemistry as a Yoru, or you're just feeling a bit off, your spacing is off as well. You're going to see like the problems that can bring, right? Because we're going to see here with the Yoru that they do have some problems here, Misfits, with like what's exactly going on, what Fluorescent exactly should be doing, as you will see, because this is actually the bonus round for Immortal, so you can see they don't even have the great guns. But what's going to happen is they're just going to come in onto the site here, our Misfits, right, and everything looks fine at this point. They're coming in and everything is a-okay, and Fluorescent is jumping in here and is going to get a bit aggressive, start flashing up, sees one, sees a second player as well, and so decides to gate crash away, as you can see just there, back into this spot here. The problem is that the chamber is actually still there, right? So this chamber was trying to follow Fluorescent in, right? And try and, like help them out and potentially, trade any kill that came in, or, double face anyone who was there, right? And doing the right thing. But then the problem is Fluorescent has gone away, right? So now both these players, are going to be looking in this direction, having just seen that Yoru, of course, and this chamber is now going to die to this Viper, right? And Fluorescent isn't there for a trade. Right, and this is, I think, what was going on quite a lot, where just that chemistry overall is gone, right? And I'll just show you on the map here that this chamber is going to die. That kind of chemistry of where Fluorescent should be, where should they teleport in, when should they teleport out, all of that. It can be quite difficult if you're not used to playing Yoru, if that team chemistry isn't completely on point. And I think that's a reason why a lot of teams, shy away from ever playing Yoru, is because I think you have to put quite a bit of work into Yoru to make sure that stuff like this doesn't happen all the time. And there are other examples as well, like this one that I showed yesterday, where Fluorescent is just going to go, a bit further ahead than maybe they really need to, right? With the ult, they're going to eventually pop out of the ult here and try and get this flash off and try and get this kill, right? But they're going to have a Viper's Pit, and I mentioned this yesterday, they're going to have a Viper's Pit on site. You've got the spike down with a Viper's Pit. You should feel pretty confident. There's not really a need to do this. Perhaps 8-0 down, right? Psychologically, it's a bit of a kind of, feeling that you need to make a play, not always making the right choices in these scenarios, but, Fluorescent is going to die there to Sarah, and, they're going to end up in a 4v5 instead, and this kind of, there's no trade available or anything like that, obviously, with that kill. It just felt like things were a bit off with the Yoru and they couldn't quite make it work. But now when we take a look at what was happening with a Jet, I think it just makes so much more sense, and we end up with a lot of rounds like this. Now, Fluorescent was just going absolutely crazy on Jet, as the scoreline showed. So it wasn't just that, the change from Yoru to Jet, that's the reason everything changed. Obviously, Fluorescent's like level of play went to absolute god mode in this map, so that is obviously another big part of it. But I do think overall it just looked like things were a lot better, they were a lot neater, they just seemed to work more in tandem, essentially, where the Breach was able to support the Jet, like in this round here, where what we're going to get is a Jet. We got a Jet ult here for the Fluorescent, but we're also going to get the Breach ult as well. So you can see here, in comes the Breach ult. The chamber is actually going to TP away, But what's going to happen now is they're going to scale just, I think, better as a team, right? Whereas before, this would have been perhaps a Yoru gate crash in here, and the Yoru would have been up in this spot right now, just as that breach ult is ending, and everyone else is back here. You see the difference where the gap is just not as big, and the gap is going to stay consistent at that size, right? Where the Jet is going to try and punish with the breach ult, but they're never like too far away, right? To where if this is a gate crash in here, you know, and this breach ult has come here, there's no reason why someone can't be there, avoided the breach ult, and maybe get the kill on that Yoru. But that's a lot less likely with the Jet because they're just following the path of the ult instead. And so I think it just makes it easier, right? There's less things to kind of work out and have to synergize and things like that. You can just do this instead, right? Like Fluorescent does there, catch them off guard, obviously using like Jet updrafts and whatnot to kind of take advantage of like the map. And now we're just going to see Fluorescent go crazy, right? They actually end up in a 3v4 here, but Fluorescent, this is just like a highlight reel, right? This whole game is basically a highlight reel for Fluorescent. They just go absolutely nuts and just go crazy and actually get denied an AC. It just dashes in, even trying to get that last kill as well. Insane, right? But you can see kind of just the difference, I think, was just so obvious straight away, both in terms of comfort and just in terms of, you know, being able to just kind of go logically step by step as a team rather than having someone way off in the distance kind of on their own needing to survive. And now let's come to round number 7, where again, I think the benefits over the Yoru are pretty clear here, as you can see. The first benefit we're going to see in this round is just simplicity, right? You're playing this breach on Icebox, and with a Yoru, you need to have very good synergy between your breach and Yoru to make it work, right? You need extremely good timing, you need to know exactly where you want to stun or flash, you know, and where the Yoru is going to gate crash. You need to have that all very much planned out beforehand, right? And it's going to take a lot of prep work to figure all that stuff out. Whereas with a Jet, you know, you can just like for instance in this round, you know, Fluorescent has an op. It can just be, I'm going to flash here for you, updraft onto this angle with an op, you know, and then just op from there, right? Like it's just a lot simpler, I think, here for things like this, where this can happen, right? Where we're going to get a flash off nest there. That's going to help Fluorescent set up here onto this angle with the op, and you know, Fluorescent's going to manage to get a kill with it as well, as you're going to see. Nice little angle through the back of A here, you know, an angle that you might want to abuse yourself. Really nice kill. Manages to get that first kill. But as we run this round forward as well, a bit quicker, we're going to see, 1, more value from the breach, which I love. 2, we're going to see just extra things that I think help the Jet overall over, say, a Yoru. So they start to come towards B, as you can see just here. There's actually a Viper Spit on A that we saw before as well. And we're going to get a really nice breach done onto this chamber and a nice swing coming out, and Fluorescent actually manages to get that one as well. And now Fluorescent, you know, feeling it at this point, going absolutely crazy on the scoreboard. You know, I think it only died once or twice at this point already. It's actually going to go very deep, right? As they get the spike planted, gonna come very, very deep. And I think this is the second advantage we're gonna see over a Yoru, and that is the Jet smokes. Because what's gonna happen is the breach is actually going to die. We're gonna get that kill from Fluorescent there, but now the breach is gonna die from behind, and we're gonna get a trade on that KO just before Fluorescent dies. And so now we end up with Fluorescent in a similar situation that you might find yourself in as a Yoru, right? You're pretty separated from the team, and there's someone bearing down on you, and you know that they are there. But Jet, and I think this is one of the really underrated parts of Jet, the Jet smokes are very, very good for multiple reasons, right? And one of them is that it really helps get out of situations like this. Whether it's just Jet smoking to buy time for the team to come and help you, whether it's Jet smoking to be able to get out of this situation, Fluorescent abused the Jet smokes. Her use of Jet smokes in this game was unbelievable in this game, and it helped them so much to get so many of these kills. And in this instance, they're going to use the Jet smokes actually to help get a shorty kill, right? And this, I think, is the difference with Yoru. Once Yoru's in, you know, you're not getting out, right? Like, you're in, you're gonna have to fight it. You're probably gonna be flashing and whatnot and trying to definitely take that fight. Whereas as a Jet, sure, in that instance, Fluorescent does take the fight. But with a lot of these Jet smokes, you don't always have to. Even if you're very far away from the team, you can use those smokes to either help the team get closer to you, or, you know, use it to retreat completely, or, you know, use it like that where you can get a shorty kill. And then let's just finish off with this round here, round number 10, where we're going to see, again, some more good play by Fluorescent. Shock, I know, you're going to be shocked by that. But yeah, again, just more kind of synergy between the breach and the Jet, and kind of just that overall just the extra things that Jet managed to give them here. I think those are the first shot Fluorescent missed in this game. But what's going to happen? We just got that breach done. Fluorescent did get suppressed, and I think that might change the way this round is played a bit, because we're going to get a Fade Horn in here that you might just have seen there that's going to reveal the Sage, and then we're going to get a Breach over here. Now, eventually, we're going to get a really good response, to be fair, by Shopify. They're going to put up a Sage Wall here, put a Sage Slow over here with a KO nade. These two, who do get hit by the Breach, do really well, to be fair, to stall as long as they do, and they actually managed to get a couple kills. But eventually, Fluorescent is going to be able to updraft on here, and then, just take advantage of these stunned opponents, as you will see. So, there goes that Sage Wall. There's the Fade Horn in there. But yeah, we got the Sage Slow there as well. You see the KO nade comes out. They do really well. They actually managed to get a couple kills as well before they go down. But Fluorescent coming on top of the box manages to get this kill. And, well, we're going to get this nice overall as well that also gets a kill. But a nice lurk here as well to stop this overall. We end up in a 1v1. And Fluorescent, well, was there any doubt who was going to win this 1v1 at this point? I mean, it's a difficult spot for this chamber here because, you're thinking, Fluorescent at this point is God knows on what score, like 25 and 3 or something probably at this point, just going absolutely crazy. And of course, Fluorescent managed to win it. And I should say, this video has been mostly about like the Jet and how it, worked better than the Yoru perhaps and all of that, and maybe patting myself on the back a bit for being like, oh, maybe a Jet would work a bit better than a Yoru, and then it did. But let's be real, Fluorescent was the one playing those agents, and Fluorescent just went absolutely crazy. Fluorescent could have played Yoru on this day and it wouldn't have mattered. They still would have won because sometimes you're just feeling it. And when Fluorescent is feeling it, you're in trouble.